Are you sick of too many people speaking Mexican in this country? Have you ever considered a career in law enforcement, but the police said you were too stupid? Do you like to wear a mask while doing despicable things? Join ICE! Are you interested in demanding documents from visible minorities? Have you ever considered becoming a mall security guard so you can boss kids around? Do you ever think Hitler had some good ideas? Join ICE! Do you ever stare out the window while drinking a cup of coffee and think, wow, I'm good at hatred and anger? Were you bullied as a kid, or were you the bully? Either works. Do you consider paintball a sport? Do you think Christy Gnome should kill another puppy? Up. Join ICE! Do you laugh out loud when you watch Schindler's List? Does the idea of pepper spraying peaceful protesters make you aroused? Did your wife leave you after you joined a militia? Do you consider playing Call of Duty a way of life? Join ICE! Do you think fascism is a witticism from the Fast and Furious franchise? Do you ever call your ex and then hang up just to hear her voice? Have you been to at least 3 Trump rallies? Have you seen every Steven Seagal movie? Can you do 5 push-ups in a row? How about 3? Do you ever lie next to some clothes your ex left and pretend she's still around? You're so witty. The bottom line is, if you're a dumb, racist piece of shit, ICE might have a job for you. And don't forget, you can always hide behind a mask. I just want to be loved.
Yeah.
Did you see that the DOJ dropped 3 million Epstein files today?
Yes, and while that sounds like a lot, and it is, let's be clear about what that actually means. The Department of Justice claims that it now has over 6 million Epstein-related files, and only half of them have been released so far, despite the fact that they were supposed to be released over a month and a half ago. So while this is better than the literal nothing we've been getting, the DOJ has still not met the demand that Congress and the people of the US have placed on them to release all of the Epstein files.
Okay, so what's actually in the files?
Well, 2 things jump out immediately. First, the redactions. Much like the previous set that was released, the files that were released today are heavily redacted to protect powerful people, to the point that in one case, there's a literal visual diagram showing a web of Jeffrey Epstein's inner circle, basically the exact information that everybody has been asking for, and half of the info on that diagram is blacked out, protecting the identities of the exact people who the public is demanding to have released in the first place. Meanwhile, victim names appear to have been very poorly redacted, which in my opinion is not an oversight but intentional, meant to further intimidate and threaten survivors and their allies by exposing their information and their suffering to the world. In fact, the Epstein survivors group that's been pushing for these files to be released issued a very public statement today condemning the state of the released files for this exact reason. As far as the actual content of the files, there was a lot of new references to a lot of familiar names, including Elon Musk, Bill Clinton, and of course Donald Trump. The references come in a number of forms, including interviews with victims, FBI tips, and more. Of particular note is a literal list of accusations against Trump that the DOJ tried to delete almost immediately after posting, and the content of that list is incredibly graphic. In perhaps the worst of the new accusations, and trigger warning, Trump would host calendar girl parties at Mar-a-Lago where female children were brought in by Epstein, sexually assaulted on stage by Trump, and then auctioned off to the highest bidder. There is much more, and as one individual, I'm not personally capable of reviewing 3 million files, so I would recommend anybody looking for detailed information about the new accusations check out Aaron Parnas' videos on the topic. He and his team do have the resources to review all those files, and they've been putting out very clear, sourced breakdowns of what's happening so far.
How much of this is actually verified?
It's a good question, and the truth is that we don't really know yet. This is a developing story. There's a lot of potential manipulation by the DOJ, and many of the entries in these files are unverified tips that were called into the FBI, where we don't know if those tips were substantiated, followed up on, or even if evidence exists beyond the tips themselves. Personally, I expect many of them to be true, but not all of them. And I would not be surprised if there are not some deliberate red herrings placed by the DOJ so that they can debunk them and then use that to try and discredit the rest of the accusations as well. Nonetheless, we do need to have everything out in the open first so that we can finally start untangling the web of lies woven by Epstein and all the people protecting him to bring justice to the survivors and hold those in power accountable for their crimes.
Smooth transition. Hey, welcome. It's Morgan too.
Hey, it's me. Hi, I'm here.
Hey.
And
How's it
you're
going?
here.
We're here.
You know, I'm glad I don't involve myself with islands. I think the lesson I've learned this weekend is
You think
that
the island is the source of the issues here?
well, okay, so like we have Turf Island, we have Epstein Island. I'm really just thinking, the Cayman Islands where they do a lot of tax haven, tax crimes.
Yeah, I mean, I
Marco
think
Rubio wants to like do something on Cuba that seems kind of rapey. I don't know. So
I think Madripoor is an island, right?
Oh, you're right. Yeah. See,
I mean, everybody, that's like the worst of the worst. Shit goes on at Madripoor. We all know that. You all know that.
You all know that.
Yeah. So, ILO files. Talking about ILO files. So I think look, there's a lot to talk about, but just starting off, I want to say that this is pretty much what we're looking at right now.
Yeah, no, that's, I mean, other than just like, let me get on my soapbox about IQ for a minute. It's not a thing. That one can go, but like low information voters is something that, Trump famously says he loves, people who don't know their fucking ass from a hole in the ground.
Yeah, Trump's, yeah, that looks pretty good. That's a good looking Trump there. I just saw
we Island Man. Bob by man.
MAGA just stands for make a Grindr account.
Hey, you know what? A lot of very nice people use Grindr to have sex with a lot of nice young men who aren't monsters.
A lot of nice people have a lot of probably not nice sex with a lot of nice people.
Yeah.
A lot of hate fucking, that's just a guess. I don't know. Look, I'm just talking out of my ass right now. I just know that nothing.
Well,
anyway,
I do know that when the hate fucking circus comes to town, I mean the GOP National Convention, it breaks Grindr.
Yep.
Same thing with the Charlie Kirk memorial service. That's
that thing. It's weird.
That's weird.
So this is. I want to start off by coming to a conclusion that took me, and it's still like I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around this fact. Really, that the people that have been saying things about pizza, was it Pizzagate?
Yeah, but
QAnon, blah blah blah, the pedo ring that operates reality and controls everything, blah 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 blah. They were right. Like, they were right.
They
Just were like that far off about who was responsible.
they weren't wrong,
This guy,
but they were not correct.
The funny thing about a certain type of angry conspiracy guy is that they're literally being confirmed with an elite pedophile ring and tyrannical government at the same time right now. And because it's not being done by people they wanted it to be done by, they're all being pussies about it.
Right. It's that, wait a minute, it's not Barack Obama doing it. Shit, we don't care.
Joe Biden smelled that girl's hair that time. Holy shit. You saw it. It was right there on video. I swear to God, people are still going to mention stuff like that, and it's going to drive me nuts because, like,
yeah,
dude,
it's just like quick question: which United States president was running the child auction? Dan? Who was that? Which guy was that? According to the DOJ's document trove.
Let me see what I got here on that. I know I have. Yeah, here we go. This is a really handsome guy covering it the other day. I think the audio is out of sync with the video, but this is the worst one, guys. This is warning, right? This is bad.
It's a nice coat. Reminds me of something.
Santos friends. I'm sorry, it's wrong. Donald Trump, the president, had parties at Mar-a-Lago called Calendar Girls. Jeffrey Epstein would bring the children in, and Trump would auction them off. He measured the children's vulva and vaginas by entering a finger and rated the children on tightness. This is why I wanted to play the video of me already having said it, so I didn't have to actually say it again, because it was pretty upsetting to say and read. So.
Whoa.
The guests were elder men and included Elon Musk, Don Jr. Trump, Ivanka Trump, and Eric Trump were there. Attorney Alan Dershowitz was also there with attorney Bob Shapiro. We were taken in rooms, forced to give oral sex to Donald J. Trump, forced to allow them to penetrate us. I was 13 years old when Donald J. Trump raped me. Ghislaine Maxwell was also present.
I wish I could have gone back in time and threw a content warning on. Fucking hell! Fuck.
As if it's not bad enough that these things are happening in like a. You know what it is, and this is fucked up, but I just kind of realized this. I think until I read this, I imagined that these types of people were doing this kind of shit with like some semblance of like, I know what I'm doing is gross and bad, but I'm doing it anyway. You know what I mean? This describes people who are extremely proud of what they're doing. They're making it a fucking game. Yeah.
Fuck.
The last thing I said at that, and after that was they're ranking child genitals the way you and I would rank Star Wars films.
Right. That's.
Yeah. Hey, we're off to a fucking fun start, right?
Oh, I should have gotten some whiskey before this, Dane.
But it is important to know what is being, that's on the outer edge of the stuff that I'm aware of, by the way. It's not like I've reviewed 3 million files or whatever. But
right.
As far as I can tell, that's one of the things that most people have identified so far as like, yikes, holy fuck, that is, woo.
Can I share a funny one?
Yeah, please.
Just to like break it up, because I could use I think other people probably could use a little bit of a, after, according to the DOJ documents that have been released, Bill Gates, founder of Microsoft, had Epstein banned from Xbox Live because he was a sex offender. Though years after the fact, he was already a sex offender because a girl that Epstein introduced or provided to Bill Gates gave him an STI. And so that's why Bill Gates banned Epstein from Xbox Live.
Well, that's not how that's not the way that I'd process that information. I thought that it was literally because Xbox had, and there goes my fucking screen. Well, there I am. Okay. I thought that it was Xbox had made a deal with the state of California to block any registered
Sex offender.
SOs,
Yeah.
which he was one, so they got rid of him. I have the like
Oh, sure.
whatever thing about it. But then he was at the same time still canoodling. I have a meme about it though. Let's check this out.
Great, a meme.
It's a fun meme. Since we're doing a fun thing real quick about it.
Just
Any Nathan Fielder fans? The plan? Strike up a friendship with Bill Gates and get reinstated on Xbox Live. That's yeah, exactly. The way that they followed up, I described it Friday night as like it would have like that allegation. Everything I read in that clip, that was part of the little claim essentially. And then the next field over to the right of it, the text would be however they'd followed up on that so far. And it would be like, we called somebody, but there's no longer a valid phone number and couldn't find a valid phone number. And I was like, wow, this reminds me of like when I was in high school, and I would be like, I started doing my math homework, but like my pencil broke. So what am I going to do? Not homework. That's for fucking sure.
That's the one. I just
couldn't reach him.
That's just absurd. These are, if I'm trying to I'm going to steel bot the FBI in this and be as careful.
This FBI or previous iterations?
The institution of the FBI.
Okay.
If I'm going to steel bot them, the agents in charge of the following up with these tips or their supervisors basically knew that this was going to go nowhere because these people have more money than God and can make lives hell for the bureau and for the prosecutors who have to do it and tie up the courts. And it quote unquote wasn't worth it because of the investment that would be required to go after these guys. And that's the best version of this story I can come up with. And they still sound like absolute pieces of shit who should not have jobs in this area. And that's, Bob points this out. Bob the Old Ways points out, maybe some of the FBI agents just found the claims as overwhelming, as unbelievable as a lot of us do. The difference between us and them is it's their job. I mean, these are supposed to be the people in the FBI who handle sex crimes, who are supposed to know how this illicit industry works. And so sure, some of them, that's possible, but I think as an institution, right? Because we're not just talking about, I would believe that individual agents could have that reaction. But I think at the scope of time we're talking about and the scale of the conspiracy, at some point the conspiracy was too big to go after.
Yeah, I mean, well, I guess that was the question I had is like, are these notes there? This stuff seems to be correlated. That section of the file seems to be correlated as a way to go, let's get all of the Trump stuff in one little section so we know what we're dealing with, right?
Yeah.
And I don't see why any FBI would, the FBI would do that unless they were investigating him specifically. And if they were investigating him specifically, I hope they would do more than that as far as following up on those claims, those accusations. So it tells me that this is probably the current FBI, right? Does anybody have any know differently?
It's possible.
And that they just, it's not only do they not care, it's just not in their interest to find it out.
Right. Well, and I think when it comes to the current FBI, like we're seeing with how the redactions are being done, where the law requires victims' names to be redacted and non-victims to not be redacted, and they are doing the opposite in lots of cases, that even if they come out with every document that they are supposed to by law and were supposed to have come out with a month and a half ago, they will still have broken the law because the victims' names were not redacted.
That's true. And yeah, it seems like that. Okay, if you're any kind of government institution, agency that takes anything about actual, protection, safety of victims, and people who have been wronged, if you take that seriously at all, the first thing that you would do is just go through and redact victim information and names, and then be certain that you've gotten it all.
Right.
That would be the they claimed there was like what? How many hours of overtime throughout the summer last year of just people dedicated, pulled off of other tasks to focus on
millions of dollars, tens of millions of dollars worth of
that'll
work.
come out one day. We'll find out the numbers on that shit one day, and it's going to be crazy.
Yeah.
Whenever we learn that, it's like, who knows, a mind-boggling amount of overtime hours, money paid out, and then still this is the level of fucking redaction that they do.
And that was before there was a law. So a lot of these redactions were probably in there from when they were doing the initial cover-up, which tells us it's a fucking cover-up. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I abhor conspiracy theories. I abhor conspiracism, but this, I mean, it's right there in paper from the DOJ. It's
we're whenever we say we don't like conspiracy theories, at least me, I think you would agree. What I've meant by that historically is I don't like a conspiracy theory that is just saying shit because it sounds sinister, or
right.
It makes you kind of go, ooh, could be real spooky, or because it just simply targets the people you don't like in a government as the bad guys.
Well, yeah. You know what this reminds me of? Talking about, the law enforcement side of it and how much abuse there is. Remember, God, it is over a year ago now, maybe 2 years now, the Angel Studios and that dipshit who ran the sex trafficking rescue team that was actually just like buying trafficked women.
Yeah, well,
that guy.
Yeah, that guy.
Like, he sexually harassed people who had hired him to rescue people. That was part of the stuff that came out about that guy. This is all a game to these people. This is all. They don't care about trafficking. They're just looking for the next woman to exploit.
Yep.
Sean, Song of Freedom was the name of it? Well, yeah, that's not a conspiracy theory. That's conspiracy fact.
Right. Like, it's crazy that, they, when somebody tells you who they are, believe them.
Believe them, right?
Us, at least, if we want to just look at him running for office in 2015 onward, then he's been telling us, grab him by the pussy.
Right. Yeah.
Fifth Avenue. You know what I mean?
Yeah. When in a sane, well, we don't live in a sane world. And a lot of people have been talking about it today. And I want to express it here is that cast your mind back to the peak of Jeffrey Epstein activities. And we're talking about this is the American culture that brought us the jailbait thing by MTV, about lots of barely legal porn. Like, there was a whole segment of our culture that was about this shit and normalizing what amounted to be this shit. And I think in some ways it shows that we've come a long way from that, right? As a culture, that like now that sort of stuff is gross and creepy and weird. And the people who are into it are suspect. and that does say something positive about our culture. But
well, I mean, we could look at it like, you know, in the same way that this is just another. This is, I don't know. I don't know. I
Right.
mean, it's hard to know even where to start with this shit because, it's also like we were talking about this prior to the show, and we were hesitant to just kind of go full force believing it, you know, that everything is just true because almost certainly not everything in it is true. But what we know about this administration, these people, Epstein himself, and then just like emails, and then not being idiots and understanding context of discussions being had in there and stuff like that. Um, okay, for example, going back to Pizzagate, QAnon, right? The guy who started 4chan, who is largely, it's just pretty much accepted that he's, you know, him or his son, but maybe both of them created the QAnon, the first account that was posting Qbait, whatever
Right.
shit. There's a documentary on HBO that's really good about that, and that tends to kind of land on them as being the most likely suspects. I forget their names, but they're both crazy as shit.
They're both weird. And not just like in a right-wing political sense weird. They're
Right.
just kind of weird people.
Antisocial fucking trolls that like literally seem to just get off on being misinformation and agents who make people upsetty spaghetti.
Yeah.
And so the dad anyway, apparently these files reveal, was friends with Jeffrey Epstein. And you know, so we're looking at Pizzagate came out of 4chan.
Yeah.
QAnon came out of 4chan. And then the guy that created you know, 4chan is friends with Jeffrey Epstein. There are points in the emails where Epstein and others are talking about pizza and grape soda. Thanks for the pizza and grape soda. That was great to have some pizza and grape soda. And it's like, holy shit, all the stuff they were saying about accusing, you know, Comet Pizza, whatever the fuck it was, ping pong, ping pong.
Comet ping pong, yeah.
Yeah. And Hillary Clinton, all that stuff. Like, and look, maybe Hillary Clinton's in there somewhere. I don't fucking care if it's revealed tomorrow. Oh, look, we missed this spot that shows like a picture of Hillary Clinton. She's doing some kids or whatever. Okay, fuck her too. Send her to the fucking
Well,
gulag. I don't care.
here's the thing, right? Is that if they had those, if those were in there, we would have seen them a year ago. And while we've seen Bill Clinton's name throughout these things scattered here and there, and Bill Clinton certainly deserves to be in a deep dark hole for the rest of his natural life, along with the rest of these assholes.
Mm-hmm.
Boy howdy, Hillary Clinton. The only thing I would say is that like should have ratted your husband out. Because I mean, I would imagine she knew, but then so do the rest of these people's spouses. And like, you know, there's a reason Melinda Gates divorced Bill.
She's talked about it. She's talked about how Epstein fucking freaked her out.
Yeah.
And there's like, it's clear that there was and I didn't talk about this on Friday night because I had not gotten that deep into it yet, but yeah, there's clearly was some blackmail going on Epstein's part. And I'm sure that's how he got a large amount of the money that he had apparently.
Yeah.
Was just even suggesting to these mega wealthy people that something might happen, you know, people might find out about something. And if you're a mega rich dork like, you know, Bill Gates, who's engaged in probably some heinous illegal shit, and you know that there's only like one guy that can actually prove that if he chose to, yeah, you're probably gonna fucking fork over some money, you know.
Yeah. So I'm gonna start my thoughts out in the way I normally do, which is an outline, because that's just how I need to do these things. So, heck of a guy, huh? Jeffrey Epstein.
Hell of a fella.
Hell of a fella. Real bad dude. I think we can all agree Jeffrey Epstein, kind of a piece of work. His greatest contribution to this planet was leaving it. I think we can all agree on that. Sound fair?
Yeah.
All right. If we lived in a just world, everyone in these emails who was his associates would be in a deep dark hole for the rest of their natural lives. And their resources confiscated to be used for the community good of the countries of their victims. And I mean, I'm gonna. She is not the only person to have downplayed or defended this, but the thing Megyn Kelly said kind of sticks with me, where she's like, "Oh, this isn't so bad. It's they're barely legal," and no, they're not barely legal. They were children. They were not adults. They were teenagers. That's not barely legal, Miss Kelly.
Yeah.
You're lying for pedophiles. Sorry. And that's a frequent talking point, and we know that we've covered child marriage back when we went by a different name, and how the right wing fucking loves passing laws that make child marriage easier, that makes it harder for people involved in those to get out of them, that protects the abuse that goes on in them. Abusing children that way is part of right wing culture. That's it.
Yeah. It's about domination. It's about a rigid dominance hierarchy that physically weaker and perceived weaker by gender people should be on the bottom and should be susceptible to whatever harms and abuses that the person on top feels or is warranted. And yeah, it's that's where we're at. It's like it is just, I can't help but think about it as like I don't know, like a battle between two types of, not types of people, but like, yeah, generally like I don't believe that we're like inherently different or anything, but I think that there's people that just are anti-social, anti-human, anti-empathy, anti-reason, and they're over here trying to defend this shit and cover it up.
I think it's two outlooks. It is the outlook of civilization versus the outlook of apocalypticism. And I think when it comes to the right-wing culture in America especially, but also elsewhere, it is tinged with apocalyptic rhetoric. And that when you combine that with the wealth of the oligarchs that both support that movement and buy into it, they are using their resources to get goods while the getting's good. Because they're not planning for tomorrow. They're not planning for, the 1,000-year Reich. They're planning for how they can live in their bunkers with their sex slaves.
And they don't believe that there's ever going to be a reason to fear consequences for anything.
Consequences, yeah.
Except now this shit starts bubbling up and they kind of start peeing themselves a little bit, I think.
Yeah, and I think one thing that we're all going to have to learn to manage is that I think right now it's very easy to feel hopeless because these are a lot of powerful people and they were voted into office. And it seems like a lot of news sites and a lot of media companies are not covering this to the degree we would all like. But that is the machinery of oligarchy. And it's not going to turn on a dime to bite the hand that feeds it. Now, it has investors it's responsible to. It has a lot of journalists that are good, hardworking journalists that believe in the cause of journalism that will shine through the cracks and are worth looking for and looking to in some ways. But it's not gonna, we have 3 million documents this release, several million the one before, and plus all of the stuff that the Epstein estate released over the summer. This shit's gonna move slowly, and we can't lose hope, but we also can't be like, why is things taking so long? Because fucking things up this bad, making this mess, took decades. We're not going to fix it in a year or 2 years or 5 years.
That's good. That's good shit right there.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I've been saying that essentially to people in my, that show up and if it's a name I've never seen before that shows up on my live streams or something and says, "Oh, this channel sucks. I don't recommend this biased channel. I'm just like, oh yeah, pedo defender says what?
Right.
But you know, okay.
I enjoy the Epstein class as a demonym for them. Just that these are the Epstein class. These are the wealthy people who flaunt their power by exploiting children and then blame others.
Dude, are you like? I mean, CJH. I feel like sometimes that I whenever you comment, I'm trying not to take it personally, like you just don't listen to anything we say, and that every week your brain kind of resets to this fucking default mode. Dude, what the fact that this stuff is coming out is in a fucked up way, it's positive.
Right.
That is a sign of something to hope for. Because would you rather it not come out? This stuff has been going on. It's been going on your whole life, my whole life, everybody, right? To some degree or another, right? So like, would you rather just never come out and you just the comfort of ignorance and then would you be better off like that? Maybe.
I may make an analogy from my time in scouting. Cleaning an infected wound fucking hurts. It does not feel good. It's miserable for both you and the person cleaning the wound. And sometimes those are the same person. But you have to do it or you die. Because what choice do you have, right? This hurts. This sucks. This is gut-wrenching. We have to. We don't have the choice is death.
Okay, so I'm gonna lay it out for you, man. So that you because it seems like you maybe kind of get frustrated, and I understand flustered on the likelihood of that happening. So here's what has to happen. Here's what has to happen for any accountability to ever happen. First of all, mitigate your expectations. There's a good chance nobody involved here ever sees any real consequences that any of us would, if for much less shit. Right. So that's one thing. But
there are pot dealers that will see more jail time than anyone in these files.
To get these people out of power, both cultural power and political power. So cultural, like Elon Musk, and political, the Trump regime. That's a net positive, right? So maybe we don't get to see them go to jail. Maybe the true justice isn't served. But I mean, if they get removed from office, if they lose support because people can no longer fucking see supporting people that's like, oh man, this looks pretty bad for them, right? They've lost more than just their positions in cultural and political power. They've lost how they need people to see them as like some kind of alpha champion, whatever the fuck, and yeah, to a degree I think that's kind of gone. Nobody is sincerely looking at fucking Trump as his brains leak out of his fucking asshole apparently every day, thinking, yeah, that's a true alpha male right there. Nonetheless, but in order for anything to happen, including get them out of fucking office, we have to organize, communicate, protect one another, show up. I mean, I know you're in Canada, so like whatever. You guys are doing great with Carney. I'm kind of jealous right now, but
yeah,
he seems all right. Have you seen him?
Who?
What's his name? Carney, their new guy.
No, I have not. I've missed him somehow.
He's like a no nonsense, but also just kind of like chill guy.
Sweet. So I think when it comes to something, this vast and this overwhelming, because I think here with forced adversity and with the modern audience, we want to sort of be big picture about things. But I think sometimes to be big picture, when you have something that is this obscene, you have to dig in. And let's do that. Let's dig in. I have a triangulating story. I'm going to triangulate the Epstein files. 3 terrible places on Earth: Epstein Island, Turf Island, and the state of Kentucky. And how these things relate. So, I'm going to start here with the bad news from this week. Independent of the bad news of the Epstein files, which is in its own way good news that it's coming out. Right? It's painful, it sucks, but we are here. Let's talk about Kansas. The Kansas legislature, this is from Aaron in the Morning, which is a good news site, independent journalism that covers trans issues. And as we all know, I'm one of them trans peoples. So Kansas legislature passes a trans bathroom bounty bill. So you remember how in Texas they have that bounty bill for people getting abortions or for doctors that provide abortion services? This is like that, but for taking a shit. If you take a shit in the bathroom and someone doesn't like that, they can get a reward for turning you in. The mechanism for this is very vague by design because, that way they can be as extreme or, case determinant as they want to be. And the bill also, forces trans people who did get their driver's license with their correct gender markers on it, they have to get new ones that have the wrong ones. Yeah, so that's Kansas this week, right? And you're like, well, Morgan, what on Zod's dead Krypton does that fucking have to do with the Epstein files? Let me tell you. Huh. Well, what's this?
Oh dear.
This is from Robert Trivers, who's a biologist, emailing. Is that Jeffrey Epstein? I'm going to read. It's very simple. I will compare female to male or male to female with female to male. With greater molecular control over development, we are increasingly capable of producing novel phenotypes, more feminine men, by blocking testosterone receptors or castration, and at the same time increasing estrogen production, the one that blocks male features, the second encourages female features. More masculine women, heavy testosterone dosage, incredible external effects, heavily bearded men. You would never guess they had a female bone in their body. The first kind, male to female, is 4 times more frequent than female to male. That's not true.
Yeah, I was going to say, maybe we should preface by pointing out that there's a lot of misinformation here.
Yes, there is. So far, when he's talking about like the science of how HRT works, that like I take a testosterone blocker, I take a estrogen. One blocks testosterone, which makes my male features less prominent, and the estrogen gives me more female features. And testosterone supplements for trans men gives them more masculine features. It is frankly very cool. This male to female is 4 times more frequent than female to male. The population of trans men to trans women is about the same. That's just wrong. Now here's where it gets creepy. Trigger warning for discussing of sex and sex organs and sexual fantasies and sex. The first trans woman is attractive. He is a woman with a misgendering too. Right, I forgot that one. He is a woman with a cock. So if your fantasy is to suck a man's dick, but otherwise you are completely heterosexual, it would be much nicer if the rest of the organism is female. Then you get the best of both worlds. So many transsexual women are very attractive and easily make money, in which they assert promotes their prostitution since they have to pay hefty fees for injections every week, but they are sexually happy once you have reached manhood. Even castration does not prevent the sensation of orgasm. I don't know about that, but I'm not talking to a pedophile about people's genitals. So, contrast the quote-unquote poor female to male versions. This is trans men. They are unhappy and lonely. This is not true. They are men with mum pums, the worst of both worlds.
Mum pumps. Like, this is such a specific set of like cluster of fucking misogyny, homophobia, like, and then like it's all from that, and it's a hyper specific perspective, and yet it's being treated as if like that's just the way it is, man.
Right. And trans men are not unhappy and lonely. I don't know if you've like seen trans men out there in the wild. Hey, they
You
look
have,
like men.
whether you know it or not is a different story, right? Like
Right.
that generally they're the couple that I've known seem to, be doing pretty well because for one
Yeah.
thing, they don't face the same bullshit that trans women often face.
Well, yeah, it's a different type of bullshit, but
Right.
So he goes on. If you like smelly masculine men, you want hard cock that comes with the show. You do not want one of nature's more complex and variable structures, the pum-pum, that is an acquired taste and not with a man. There are hundreds of female trans videos and websites. I have never seen a male one. Then you've never gone looking. BTW, we are now pushing the intervention earlier. So you notice your 3-year-old son has trans tendencies, so now you intervene with hormones. I would be frank to do that, but who knows, question mark. So this is Robert Trivers and Jeffrey Epstein talking about like sexually exploiting trans women for money and how we shouldn't tolerate trans men because they're sad or lonely. Well, that's the fuck. That's a very strange way to talk about a whole group of people that way. Like, just like, okay, dude.
Yeah, I think this is where like
Yeah.
So from what I can tell, I haven't looked into it at all, but like seeing that stuff around on various websites, it seems like that's where transphobes go to process the fact that they want dick from a woman.
They want dick.
Is that?
Yeah.
I don't know. I just
that is, I mean, it's the same thing about just like between futa and trap fetishes is very much like not processing the fact that you want a woman and you want the D, when you can just. It's same thing with chasers too. That's a big chaser. That's kind of the triangle. So like Morgan, we've talked about Kansas. We've talked about Epstein Island. What about Turf Island?
Turf Island. Well, I mean, I know that they have that one queen who she's kind of a mad queen, from what I understand.
Well, she owns a castle. She's not a queen.
Oh, okay. But she is mad because
she's definitely, yeah. It's the black mold.
Black mold, yeah.
It's black mold. Huh? What's this? I pulled. Where did this come from? Didn't you see this?
Oh dear. Oh,
this if you look at the URL up here, this is www.justice.gov/epstein/files/dataset9/EFTA0029268.pdf. This is an invitation to production of Harry Potter and the Cursed Child.
Who's it to?
Well, let's see who it's from first. That's up top, right? So Sonia Friedman, Colin Callender, and J.K. Rowling invite you and a guest to the official Broadway opening of Harry Potter and the Cursed Child Parts 1 and 2, Sunday, 22nd of April, 2018. So that's after he had already gone to jail.
Who went to jail?
Epstein.
And this is to Epstein?
This is yeah.
So it's a PDF for a PDF. Sorry, God damn it! It's so fucking.
And you look at how Trivers is talking about trans men. It's the same way J.K. Rowling has talked about trans men for years.
Yeah.
And you're like, Morgan, how? For those listening along at home,
with transgender people aren't valid or whatever. Did a satanic billionaire pedophile tell you that?
Right? Yeah. Trans men are sad and lonely. Did a satanic billionaire pedophile tell you that? So And you're like, well, Morgan, that's just an invitation. It's not like Jeffrey Epstein and J.K. Rowling were emailing each other, right? That's oops. Oh, that.
Wait. What does JX refer to?
Well, if you see, so this is an email to Jeffrey Epstein, or to someone from Jeffrey Epstein, and then they sort of go back and forth. And the person that Epstein is emailing signs their emails JX.
Okay.
And if you look at J.K. Rowling signs a bunch of her tweets at this time JX.
Because 2015, 2016, of course, she would sign her fucking tweets like that.
Right. Oh, good to know.
It's always Epstein. Which, you know what? Let's take a dual sidebar on this topic, because is it always Epstein? And what, these are questions I feel like as to remain sane in this society, with things going the way they've been going and going pretty wild, we should ask ourselves questions that we don't want to necessarily, like the fact that this stuff is seemingly pointing to people that we already think are terrible people. Like, she's terrible, Elon's terrible, Bill Clinton's terrible, blah, blah, blah. Maybe we should stop and ask ourselves if that is by design. Is there any way that we can be certain, or at least as supremely confident in it as we can be, that we're not kind of just being led or given spectacle?
So here is my thought, because I have thought about this, because we've talked about spectacle a lot. I can stop sharing that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I can stop sharing that. Thank you. I thought about the whole idea of this being a spectacle a lot. So when it comes to like this one, for instance, right? We know for a fact, just using J.K. Rowling as an example, right? She's a very litigious woman. Elon Musk is a very litigious man. Musk is out there, pretending he's posting through it, right? What he's not doing is having his lawyer sue the DOJ. He's not doing that. He's not suing the victims groups that pushed this legislation to be passed. He's not, railing against the Congress people who passed this, both Republicans and Democrats. He's sued a lot of people for a lot less. But not even a threat of a lawsuit.
It's the same reason why folks like myself, Organized Chaos, Birdman, Pillar of Garbage, so on, so on, so on. Like, how many times have we literally called these not even small platform YouTubers in some cases, just straight up liars, scammers, and grifters?
Yeah.
Repeatedly over. We've never once been served like a threat to be sued or anything like that.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to, because then we can say, okay, let's go to court. And
these people don't want discovery.
Right.
And this is like, in terms of like, if you're going to sue the DOJ for posting this, for releasing these documents that they are legally required to release, now is the perfect time to do it, right? We have just this week, Donald Trump sued his own IRS for $10 billion.
Turns out he might win. I don't know, man. It's kind of crazy.
It's like he controlled, like if I were a court, I would dismiss the case saying, come back when you're a private citizen. If I were a judge, I'd be like, you control both halves of the argument. I'm sorry.
To address this, that's, I don't know, man. Like, why would it? No, I mean, what would they come out and say that? It's not like they hung out all the time. It's not like J.K. Rowling was spending the night at Daniel Radcliffe's house every weekend or some shit when they were filming the movies. She wrote the books. I'm sure she was on set sometimes. She met with them sometimes, I'm sure. And after a certain point, none of them wanted anything to do with her, I don't think.
Well, yeah, initially they all went their separate ways because Harry Potter was over and they were all incredibly wealthy young adults who wanted to do their own thing.
Mm-hmm.
And good for them, right? and also they, the length of that film franchise did require they had a lot of attention on them just from the media and from culture in general. And it seems like, I don't know exactly how true this is, but a lot of the protections that we don't see for child actors like in the 90s who kind of ended up messed up, they very much did not want that to happen with those kids. And now they're all successful adult actors.
This is true. I mean, look, and by the way, me asking that question was simply for everybody to recognize that we all kind of need to ask ourselves that sometimes. The reason I'm pretty damn confident with going with, at least until something shows me that, there's been some, I don't know, deception campaign within these fucking files. I don't know. It just seems like more like what we had the first time, which is an inept and evil administration doing evil ineptly.
Yeah.
So the difference between, and the main thing is, like, I want to make sure that we're not doing what they do, where they see something happen on the right, and go, look, this happened, so therefore it's connected to this, and therefore, everything that we believe is validated, and
Right.
we never question ourselves, and so on and so forth. No, we tend to question ourselves on a daily basis, sometimes more than that, when it comes to, we're evidence-based people. Now we're seeing the evidence that's kind of just fucking flopping out of a big overstuffed suitcase or whatever, and it's just like, holy shit, I kind of wondered about some of this stuff. Some of the stuff I never even thought about being connected, and I'm like, oh fucking Christ, it's connected. You know what I mean? And so we're seeing the evidence. So now is the time to start believing shit is connected. You know what I mean? Now is the time, not
Right.
just making up a theory and then run with it because it makes you feel spooky.
Here's a good example of like a thing in the most recent Epstein releases, that I think we've had some conspiracism from people on the left, but it's like, all right, come on, guys, be a little more skeptical. Like, so he invested in Bear Stearns in 2003 or 2006, I forget which.
Let's go to that in just a second. I want to address the Jaybird's thing real quick. So it is kind of like that, huh? I've seen a little bit of that myself. Even dismissing of it from anti-establishment left types, right? Maybe we need to stop thinking about certain groups of online political actors as being the only version of a thing that you can be.
Yeah.
For example, all the people that, if you vote for Biden, it's the same thing as voting for Trump because Gaza. You know what I mean? That kind of shit. There's just a lot of bad faith and just boneheaded, political actors out there. And if you're operating from your values and what you actually believe and the things that you want for the world and the things you want to prevent from happening in the world, or at least in our country, then you're probably not going to go wrong. But if you start from a collection of here's what we believe as this group of leftists or whatever, and you don't have an underlying thing, then you end up like non-compete, saying that Nazis had a point. Right. Anyway. Deep cut for anybody.
Yeah, that's the non-compete Vosh debate disaster.
So I've got Jesus Christ. I've got a thing to pull up about that crazy theory about Bear Stearns.
All right, while you're doing that, I want to just drop a link into the chat arena. So if you are watching this on a channel not called The Modern Audience, what you should do, subscribe to this channel. We're linking right here, right now. Hop on, get a sub, and join us in chat over there. That is the official Modern Audience chat. And we hope you will join us.
Oh, by the way, we're not just fucking coming like, oh, well, the people we don't like, because
Noam fucking Chomsky.
Chomsky, man.
Fucking Chomsky.
Essentially the most well-known and well-respected, prior to this anyway, globally, leftist, the guy that, if you were a lefty, you paid attention to Chomsky to some degree. At least until he started getting real old and having conversations with like the Gray Zone or whatever the fuck. Hell yeah. Yeah, we got like 304 subs over here.
Yeah, it's working its way up.
All right. So Did you want to read about? Did you want to say something in particular?
You want to pull it up so I can put it on screen. I can read it.
Okay. This is a wild one, but
This is
what's wild is how it doesn't even seem like it could be
right.
fake. Like it seems like it could be real. All
right. So I will read the original post. So in August of 2006, Epstein, a month after the federal investigation of him began, invested $57 million in the Bear Stearns high-grade structured credit strategies enhanced leverage hedge fund. This hedge fund was highly leveraged in mortgage-backed collateralized debt obligations. In April 2007, an investor in the fund who had $57 million invested discussed redeeming his investment. At this time, the fund had a leverage ratio of 70-1. That meant for every dollar invested, there were $17 of borrowed funds. Therefore, the redemption of this investment would have been equivalent to $1 billion from the thinly traded CDO market. The selling of CDO assets to meet the redemptions that month began a repricing process and a general freeze in the CDO market. The repricing of the CDO assets caused the collapse of the fund later in July and eventually the collapse of Bear Stearns in 2008. It is likely that Epstein lost most of this investment, but it's not known how much was his. So the odds... The odds of him actually being the cause of the 2008 financial crash individually is small. We are talking about a huge.
Let me tell you my understanding of this stuff is pretty, I don't know about minimal, but since then I've learned bits and pieces here and there. So first of all, Bear Stearns was the first banking group, whatever, that failed essentially.
Right.
Okay. Which started causing chain reaction. That's correct, right?
That is my understanding as well.
Okay. So the thing was that they had essentially been making very unwise investments on what it was kind of like a Ponzi scheme, but not really, but kind of, right? Like they were using investments that they weren't really theirs to make unwise investments.
So that is not, when you're talking about an investment bank, the money you invest with them, they invest elsewhere.
Right.
That's how they make their money.
Mm-hmm.
Now there are all of those FDR era laws that went into place after the Great Depression to minimize this happening. So the odds that just Jeffrey Epstein's investing and pulling his investment causing all of this is extremely unlikely, because but it is a domino in that chain of dominoes.
Because what I was thinking is, if this is the type of investment that generally people don't pull a large investment once they've made it, right? Is that not true?
No, people do.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, I would have to be given a reason why specifically him doing it was, but I don't know.
Because and we don't actually know it was him. It was just an investor who put in $57 million. Sure. It is entirely possible.
She did. It's worth watching.
Yeah. The Big Short is very good.
It's free on YouTube, by the way. Go watch if you haven't seen it.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. I mean, it's at the same time. Okay, let's pretend this is 100% true and confirmed. Changes nothing about our reality in this world right now.
Right.
Still.
And yeah, he is not the only sketchy financial guy that was involved in that crash, because even if he was responsible for Bear Stearns collapsing, even if we grant that, lots of other things failed after that, that if they were managed correctly and responsibly wouldn't have happened.
It was an entire, it was laissez-faire,
right. Laissez-faire capitalism and systemic failures of both responsible banking and the regulatory system. It is just fancy gambling.
Which has now become, by the way, this is a real fucking problem. I don't know how much you've looked into it or if you watch CoffeeZilla's content, but essentially the legalized app gambling.
Oh,
is
yeah.
Blowing
Polymarket?
It's been blowing up.
Yeah, Polymarket's a problem.
It's crazy how they can just, it's like Fox News. It's dishonest fucking categorization that lets you just be a complete evil piece of shit, apparently.
Yeah.
No, we're just entertainment. We're real news, you guys. Don't worry, we're Fox News. Trust us. No, Judge, we're just joking around. It's all entertainment. Anyway, so another thing, completely unrelated, maybe, I don't know. There was some state Senate elections happening.
Yes.
So I'm from Texas. I want to represent this story if you don't mind.
As you were.
And when I was growing up as a little kid, I remember that when I went and visited the state capitol, which is the tallest of all the state capitals, by the way. Of course it is. It's Texas.
It's Texas.
And I remember learning at that point, I was probably like in 4th grade, that we had an old lady that looked like my granny as the governor. Ann Richards. And she was a Democrat.
She was.
I don't know or remember anything really about what her governance was like, but she seemed to be well liked, even by people that are more on the right. Anyway, so you all know that Texas has been a bit of a hot spot, right? Like you had Joe Rogan and Elon Musk and all these motherfuckers that claim that their taxes are just so exorbitant they can't even live in California, so they all flood to Texas. Where they learn like that. So like for Joe Rogan, this is kind of an aside. For Joe Rogan or whatever, it doesn't matter. He moves to Texas. His taxes generally are lower, but he makes so much money that it doesn't matter to him. He doesn't notice either way. But the guys that follow him in the comedy scene, right? Like his buddies that don't make nearly the money that he makes, they move there to go to his fucking comedy thing. They buy a house or try to buy a place to live or whatever, and they realize, oh wait, property taxes are way fucking higher in Texas. So it's just funny. It's okay. I'm just gonna get to the point because this is crazy, man. Like I'm very excited by this, and I'm trying not to let myself get too hyped. Okay, so a year ago, there's these state Senate seats went, let's see, 20% or 20 points to the right to Trump.
Yeah.
Right. 1 year later, look at this shit.
This shit is Banu news.
Democrats didn't just see a 30-point shift in Texas because they did.
They did.
Shifted completely in reverse, plus 10. So 30 points to the left. And they did it while being outspent 20 to fucking 1. So that has to be like, I mean, as it says here, they're fucking shitting themselves and throwing up and pissing in their pants at the same time over on the right.
I'm so happy for them.
And probably across the country, if they have any sense.
I mean, and this is not the first time we've seen this here in Wisconsin. Last year, we had the Supreme Court election. We have another one coming up that I'm going to plug in more detail next week. Spoiler alert. Where Elon Musk came here and spent more money than God. Though God's not doing great right now. Has to keep paying out for all the pedophiles. Huh. Anyways. What that's about. So he came here and spent a bunch of money and lost that election. And that's one of the things that drove Musk out of Trump's inner circle. Or drove Musk out of Trump's inner circle. And I think we're seeing that is not just a Wisconsin trend. It seems to be a national trend.
Yeah. Oh, is that right?
Fuck.
Only because of that?
I hope not. I hope it was more than that.
But yeah, I really hope
because
that
now Republicans are all down with the grape.
Yeah, good night, Lucifer. Thanks for being here.
Take it easy.
Yeah, they may have guaranteed a Blex's situation. But I mean, we can kind of get into this more probably next week, I guess, or something. But what's going on?
We'll have some nice numbers.
Good. Not good. And it 150% has to do with shit like this. You're going to start seeing more panicked moves, and then some that are probably have been coordinated to some degree since at least 2020.
Yeah. So
that's the thing about the thing that Chud's right is good at, I guess, is they know how to plant a seed for some shit they're going to use later. Or maybe they're just really good at retroactively going, oh, that I can use that as a seed. I can sow that shit right now. I don't know. But man, they fucking go to Fulton County. They take out the machines. They take out, a bunch of the votes from 2020. Fucking, hey, our friend Tulsi's there. At least she's there. She's real trustworthy. And she's a director of national intelligence. What the fuck is she doing there? Like,
she's the director of Russian assets.
yeah, that's what it is.
So I want to build off this story though, because I think there was one part of the story I was doing before that I did not quite get to because there wasn't really a good place to fit it in. No, it's just I didn't have a good place to put it. This is actually a great place to put it. So we talked about the stuff going on in Kansas with their bounty hunting law. They're hunting trans people in Kansas now.
Yeah.
But what do just Americans think about, which party prefers who does the better stuff on trans issues?
Oh, I've got a thing about that right here.
Oh, can I just pop here? I'm gonna take that away. I'm gonna do this. What's that?
This poll. Americans prefer Democrats on transgender issues. Plus 22 points.
Plus 22 points. 22. 22. In its original German.
I mean, virtually every subgroup surveyed, from mothers to black voters to even rural white voters, expressed greater confidence in the Democratic Party's handling of transgender issues in the latest poll. Once again, Aaron Reed.
Once again, from Aaron Reed.
Just follow her.
Just follow Aaron Reed. Yeah, just follow Aaron in the morning.
Anti-transgender politics appears to be losing steam with American voters.
Yeah.
The trend was already visible in November when multiple candidates who centered their campaigns on anti-trans messaging were soundly defeated. Despite spending enormous sums on attack ads. Now there's a fresh evidence from an unlikely source. Transtastic. I have downloaded a green screen of the character from Gen V saying it's transtastic. I haven't done anything with it yet. Yeah. Voters say Democrats have a better approach on the issues by a wide margin, an outcome that suggests the years-long anti-trans panic may finally be wearing thin, at least among voters.
Yeah, well, if you're a Republican right now who believes Republican things, you're a Republican voter who believes in 2024 that Republicans were going to fix the economy and fix the price of groceries and fix the price of housing and all of these things, but all you've seen for 2 years is this shit.
Mm-hmm.
Is all this bounty hunting, all of the sports bans, and Democrats aren't even doing anything. You have Gavin Newsom who is like cheering on the Republican bullshit, but by and large, Democrats are just like, the fuck are you on about, you weirdos? What the fuck are you on about, weirdos? Is by a 22-point margin the opinion of the American voter.
I mean, if you don't believe that, if you don't believe how it's being framed, you can literally look at how it breaks down right here.
Oh, there we go. Well done. Look at you with the numbers.
Conducted January 23rd to 26, 2026, under the joint direction of Beacon Research, D, and Shaw and Company Research, R. This Fox News national poll. And I mean, I think what this shares is that it's difficult to wrap our heads around the fact that there are, yes, obviously a lot of really disgusting, vile, bigoted, hateful pieces of shit in the world and in this country. But I think that what the right overplayed their hand on is that apathy could easily translate to just malice, active malice and harm from most people. Sure, you can get the reliable pieces of shit and the most uneducated, unempathetic, small-minded people to be real shitty and hateful and malicious to trans people or whatever. But they genuinely thought that, like I've talked before about the content that I've covered on my channel for years, that one of the main purposes of that content is to turn people's ignorance and apathy about issues like transgender people into active malice and desire for harm against those people. And to a degree it works, but then over time the same thing happened with gay people and gay marriage. Like, where eventually everybody kind of knows a gay person. You're like, actually that dude's pretty awesome. Oh, they look happy together. Why would I not want them to get married? You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, I'm hoping that that's what this represents anyway.
I hope so. I also think it's just a mix of and to put the lead lining on this silver cloud. That still means 28% of voters think Republicans are doing better on trans issues, right?
But we know they don't think that based on facts, and we know that they definitely don't think it based on any values that we share.
No,
so their brains are just kind of broken.
Their brains are mush, right? Yeah, I get transphobia rots your brain. And you look at to go back to our special guest of the episode, J.K. Rowling. It wasn't long in her anti-trans posting that she was first palling around with neo-Nazis and then eventually posting Holocaust denial. So bigotry loves company. And I think that's, the Republicans wanted to use transphobia as a wedge issue to onboard people into bigotry. The problem is that most people don't know trans people. So it's this ephemeral thing that you don't see, or when you hear about you read about, we're going to ban men from playing on women's sports team. It's like, oh, what men? Oh, it's a trans girl in high school.
Yeah.
One trans girl in the whole state. We're going to pass a law to ban one person from playing sports. The absurdity, it can shake someone to this is a bit much. And then at the same time, you have all of the other things they've promised and they ain't delivering. Now, they never do deliver. And a lot of, the other part of my lead lining on our silver cloud here is that come 2028, that 22-point number is going to look a lot lower. Because election spending and a lot of, memories fade. And like we saw with Trump, a lot of people who were never Trumpers on January 7th, 2021, pulled the lever for him in November 2024.
Yeah. Well,
that's just the way of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, however, I don't know. I just don't think that I'm not disagreeing with anything that you're saying.
Yeah,
just we'll have to see.
Right, we'll see. And
we're
I do
so fucking far beyond the realm of anything known or predictable that it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I also think that while I'm putting the lead lining on our silver cloud here, we do have a silver cloud, right? Is that they are losing. They know they're losing, and they are freaking the fuck out.
And any Democrat or anyone that's, even Republican that's trying to run against or campaign against MAGA and what's in office right now, that doesn't basically at least make it part of one of the central focuses of their campaign, the connections to Epstein and shit. What are you even doing?
Yeah. Yeah, if you are primarying a Republican right now, run to their left. Run on Epstein. Run on how you need to fix the party and get the Epstein class out of your party.
You know what it was? It's one thing. There's almost never it was one specific reason why somebody didn't win.
Yeah.
But we can point to, I think, the distinctions between, Biden's win in 2020 versus his loss or her loss in 2024. Main thing being between those two, the young men young white men,
I
and
think
even
it's
some black men and some Hispanic men.
Yeah.
But if you look at any of those pollings since in the last year as well, that shit has swung the other way as well. Because one thing about young people is they may be naive enough to fall for shit, but they
But
also
they get
are paying enough
angry when
attention what's up?
they get angry when they find out.
Right. They're paying enough attention to go, wait a second, I fucking trusted you on this shit. I fell for, fuck this. I don't like you anymore. And they're not, MAGA diehards of many of them. So he's already lost a lot of the people that helped him push it over the edge. But I think, she was also a weak candidate to a degree.
I think there's a lot of things that go into it, right? She didn't have a lot of time to run.
So like, I think if Kamala could have run a much better campaign if it was a proper campaign.
Yeah, if she had been running since January, I think she would have done a better job. But I also think that like a big part of it, and we Democrats lost a lot of support among Hispanic voters, and part of that was because the Democratic rhetoric on immigration was as bad as the Republican. Like up until we were at there eating the dogs, right? That was literally the dividing line. Was like, what if we were racist without lying? And that was the Democrats' position on immigration. And she was a big proponent of that, and Biden signed that bill, right? Biden's name was on the border bill. Yeah, it was a bad decision to vote for Trump, but I see how you got there. And now, obviously, we all know that those of us saying that Trump was going to be worse were correct.
I'm talking about, so like, talking about the first term, because these are questions I had in the last year and a half or so since he won, essentially.
No,
that I was like, I need to understand this, and I went looking for some kind of fucking framing. People who helped push Trump into office this time are like 18, 19 years old. So you got to think how old they were when Trump was in office the first time. They weren't old enough to give a shit or pay attention to what was going on to any meaningful degree. So they're just becoming adults and becoming voting age, where like the most recent thing they know is that, man, when the pandemic was going on, we had to get shots and I didn't have any money in my pocket. I couldn't even go hang out with my friends or whatever, and like, well, associating that with Biden, and
is because people aren't as tuned in as we are here, as all of you are as well. When Trump was in office, we had social distancing and something that resembled a vaccine plan, and we had stimulus spending, and we had rent moratoriums, and increased access to unemployment insurance. All of those things went away under Biden. Yep. Is that Biden's fault? Honestly, kind of. Not entirely.
It's his fault that they didn't do any fucking proper prosecutions of January 6th.
Yeah. And so, yeah, like, if you were like, shit was real bad, but the last time shit was real bad, Trump gave us money and extended UI benefits and these other things, right? Again, if you are an underinformed voter, I see how you get there.
So want to show a couple of tweets or whatever the fuck they are on this stupid fucking website, truth.com or whatever. I don't know. All right, so here's the
We're called lies on Truth Social.
Here's a truthism from that place. This is the other day on voting day. Today's the day. This is Trump.
Mm-hmm.
To all voters in Texas' 9th State Senate District, get out and vote for their phenomenal candidate, Lee Wamsgans. That's a weird name. She is a highly successful entrepreneur, incredible, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so strong conservative Republican and SD9 to keep Texas red, radical left Democrats, blah, blah, blah. Polls close at 7. Okay, cool. The next day,
their polls close at 7 p.m. Holy shit.
I'll show you this real quick so you know.
So, one,
she lost.
Now like, they were not spending a bunch. They spent a few $100,000.
Yeah. This looks like maybe
Senate seat is not
400,000, and then they spent close to $3 million.
$2.5 million versus 40,000 or 400,000. All right, so now go. Okay, let's see the rest of that post. Let's see the chaser.
In Texas, a Democrat was a question somebody asked Trump. In Texas, a Democrat won special election in an area you won by 17 points. Your reaction? I don't know. I didn't hear about it. Somebody ran? Where? In Texas? I'm not involved. I mean, I won by 17. This person lost. Things like that happen. I'm not on the ballot.
So I can tell you why that is. That is not Trump having a bad memory. That's Trump has a social media person.
Mm-hmm.
Trump doesn't know half. Like Trump can post on his Truth Social account, but he is not the only one who can. And Trump does not care to post unless he's particularly agitated about whatever's in his diaper this moment.
Dude, actually, yes, I have seen. Midas Touch has been covering this, and honestly, I didn't really know for sure what to think about Midas Touch for a while, and I would, every once in a while check out a video they had. I think honestly, we're very fortunate to have them.
Yeah.
I've really decided that the other day whenever it became clear that Michael Cohen, you guys remember him?
I do remember Michael Cohen,
who's been doing podcasts on ostensibly Democrat voting, left-leaning content, talking shit on Trump, even though he wouldn't talk certain shit on Trump, but other shit he would.
Right.
Then suddenly he decides he's going to essentially say that he was coerced into all the shit that he said, in the court about Trump. Obviously, he's angling for some pardon or something like that. But,
right.
It's a grift move. It's a clear grift move.
Oh, yeah.
And immediately, Midas Touch Network put out a tweet or whatever, like, we're fucking cutting contact with this dude. Fuck him. They didn't say that literally, but they did cut contact. They stopped any podcast plans they had with him. And it's like, honestly, I'd love to see way more of that in the world.
Yeah.
Just like, oh, you're going to be like that? Grifter? Fuck off.
Yeah. Reverse access journalism, where when someone wants access to your platform, if they lie to you, you cut them the fuck off.
Mm-hmm. But nonetheless, I was starting to respond to this. That
I have not seen this.
Are aggressive. I'll pull something up real quick because you need to see.
Okay, I do. I want to see this like right the fuck now. Holy shit.
Well, can you vamp in the meantime?
I can. So if you want to see this, you should make sure you are subscribed to the Modern Audience, which if you're on the Modern Audience is over down this way somewhere. If you're not there and you're in chat on one of our other fine streaming partners, you can join chat at this link here. And if you're watching on the VOD afterwards, you can find it down below or search YouTube for official Modern Audience. Need more vamp?
Yes, please.
All right. Yeah, I'll bring up this one Bob mentions. Biden Harris allowed the child tax credit to expire and double child poverty. Not a great working class strategy. This is also 100% true. That was legitimately one of the biggest failures of the Biden administration that does not get enough coverage. Literally ruined households. Like that tax credit was huge. Hugely beneficial to parents, and being a parent is expensive. Childcare is super expensive. Even if you're just having grandma or someone watch your kid, that is fucking expensive. Just because that's a person who has to take time out of their day, you have to work around their schedule. There's no cheap version of childcare, and that's just childcare. That's not food and medical expenses and all of those things. So that tax credit needs to be something that whoever's running as the Democrat in 2028 and right now in 2026 should be running on bringing back the child tax credit. All right, here is our Midas Touch Network.
So Trump threatens to send ICE after supporters who don't donate. After the recent murders of Renee Good and Alex Preddy at the hands of federal immigration agents in Minneapolis, Donald Trump sent a fundraising email warning supporters that they could be flagged as illegal aliens if they failed to respond to his donation request. And now this is a very specific one, very aggressive, obviously, but there's a thing that they do in almost, I think, every email that his campaign sends out, where it's like they're very intentionally obtuse about what you're clicking on.
Yeah.
As being like, you're just voting because you love Trump. Hit this if you love Trump. And it's like, actually donate $5,000 or something like that.
Right, yeah. Take all your money.
Your checking account in many cases. So the email title, "Are you an illegal alien?" urged recipients to take a so-called citizens only survey and implied that ICE could come after those who did not participate. I reached out last week about my citizens only survey. Your file says you're a top MAGA patriot, but my records to my survey still say response pending. Don't tell me you're an illegal alien.
Wow.
That cannot be true. This is your final moment to prove me wrong. Please, please. Are you a proud American citizen, or does ICE need to come and track you down? Take the citizens only survey.
Oh my God.
Provocative messaging comes amid national outrage, blah, blah. So, yeah. And I guess it doesn't go any further into it, but like, you can go find the video part of it, video version, where it's like taking the survey literally links you to far more confusing things to click on that could lead you to just donating thousands of dollars.
Money. Yeah.
It's fucking crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
Literally, it's like, you're not even just for MAGA. Okay, you voted for me. Sure, you're MAGA. But
yeah.
Are you sending me money right now?
Right. Are you paying your protection racket right now? Yeah. That, like, I hate how prescient that thought was, and I'm glad that I put that together and that's out there on the internet for people to see. Because I put together a little speech about how none of us are American anymore, as far as the regime is concerned. And they prove me right more and more every day. And it makes me sick.
See what else we had here. A couple of quick things, I think.
I want to talk about something fun.
Okay.
While you're looking for something.
I mean, this is not that.
Okay. All right. Well,
So
go ahead and show this. We can end on something
you
fun.
guys can, well, no, we can end on your fun thing. But
yeah, we'll end on my fun thing. Yeah.
January 26th, Ohio Immigrant Alliance published an updated list of known ICE and CBP agents with documented criminal charges / convictions with the help of the Pacific Anti-Fascist Research Collective. 29 out of 30 of these people, ICE, CBP agents, are sexual offenses against minors.
Jesus Christ.
So we'll just end on that as far as the hard news goes. And what do you got?
All right, I got a fun one. So I have to share again. So let me share a screen, share the right window. All right, so let's talk about movies. This weekend, the Melania documentary by noted sex pest Brent Ratner came out. One of the most expensive documentaries ever made. And MGM / Amazon spent, I think $45 million on the documentary and another $35 estimated million on marketing it. It lost to a YouTuber. Oh, that's
my thing. Sorry.
So Iron Lung came in second. Send Help is a Sam Raimi movie that I have not heard much about, to be honest. But Iron Lung is
one person said it was very good. It was crazy, but
what was Send Help?
Yeah,
cool. Iron Lung is a video game adaptation made by a YouTuber. It beat Melania's documentary that was all this money was poured into, and the media is playing up that her documentary is this huge success versus a video game movie about an indie game and the movie was produced, shot, and financed by a YouTuber. We're winning the culture war, folks. Yeah, I don't know how.
No fucking doubt.
Like they tried to force this documentary as like this big thing, and it made $10 million less than YouTuber goes to the movies.
Well, look, we can't get too mad at Melania about this for trying to force this like it was some big thing that even though nobody wanted it. That's what she's been shown America is about.
Right, by both her husband and the director of the documentary.
Yeah, that it's like, just, hey, this little thing right here, it's really a big thing. Please tell me it's a big thing. Please get everybody to pay attention to this. I'm not asking anymore. So yeah.
Yep.
They're forcing it down our throats. Holy shit.
So yeah, we are winning the culture war. Great work, team. So that is my good news to end on for the evening.
And just to kind of, add a little bit more on top.
Oh, I do love just a little cherry on the top.
Hero of the former the podcast formerly known as Fabcast. One of our, I think, favorite people that we've covered. Whenever she has unfortunately found herself as the target of her demented, insane father's public ire. Vivian.
Yep.
I don't know if I guess she doesn't go by Musk.
No, she does not.
She said essentially that, she can confirm that at the times and date specified in the emails, they were in St. Barth's, which was,
that's Epstein Island.
Virgin Islands thing. So, as far as she can tell, of course, she said she's learning about a lot of this stuff in real time as well. She didn't know anything about the connections. So, yeah.
And obviously she would have been a preteen, which I guess bringing your preteen to...
It's weird because there are emails where Musk is telling Epstein how old his children that are coming with him are. And I don't know what the point of that is.
I had the most disgusting thought. Does Musk hate his daughter? Because if he knew she was trans, he would have... I'm not even going to finish the sentence. You know where it's going. And I
kind of, but like, you can tell me later so that I make sure I don't get it wrong. Cause my brain's tired and all of this darkness has got me sad.
Yeah. But, shout out to Vivian. She's great.
She's great. And then I have one more thing here that you guys, here's how we're going to know if we won 5 years from now, 10 years from now, if we are, just publicly having documented all of the evil shit that the Trump administration did. Meanwhile, documenting and laughing our asses off about the times that Donald Trump shit his fucking pants for everybody to hear while in office. That's how we know, like, okay, guys, we did it. We're here. We fucking won. How he's got his own little version of the plaques under the presidents in the White House now.
This should be ours.
A hall of Trump shitting himself is what we need to have. We
can put that up in the ballroom.
Yeah, just fill up the ballroom with like a bunch of like video screens that show things like what we're about to look at here.
Live from the Epstein Memorial Ballroom.
Let's see. It is depressing. It is, but this is also depressing, but at least there's a fart involved.
It's shitty. It's really shitty.
The best I could do for you on short notice. But also, I want you to pay special attention to what he says. So you're going to hear it. You're going to hear the fart. You're going to hear the crap sound. This is from Forbes. This is not a doctored thing. This is straight from Forbes YouTube. I'll show you. Not that. Here it is. Yep.
All right.
Visit site, please. Thank you. Okay. Forbes. Breaking news. Breaking indeed. All right, let's check this out. They're talking about, I don't know, some bullshit, obviously. I'll turn on captions.
I'm so proud of you.
And fellas, some great things happening, right?
Yeah.
And it happens right in the 31 to 33 second or so mark. So please pay attention, and I'll turn it up as loud as I can here.
All right.
Marty, it's great, really great things happening, I hear. And some pretty big announcements over a short period of time, right?
Yep. Moving drugs over the counter so you don't need a prescription.
Yeah, right.
Naloxone, which treats opioid, is one of those drugs. And we're being proactive with synthetic 7-OH, a new opioid that's showing up. And we're working with the DOJ on addressing that because chemists are coming up with new opioids faster than the government has been able to keep up. We're going proactive on these new chemicals.
That's great. No, I hear fantastic things. Thank you all very much. We really appreciate it.
So normally in this type of Oval Office setting, they answer questions after. This time they did not. They rushed everyone out. Did y'all hear it? Because
I didn't hear it. No.
It's kind of underneath the din of the room, but like.
Are coming up with new opioids faster than the government has been
Oh,
able
Jesus
to keep up.
Christ.
We're going
Right there.
faster than the government has been able to keep up. We're going proactive. Are coming up with new opioids faster than the government has been able to keep up.
Now watch Lady in Green too.
Oh, his feet.
On these new chemicals.
Oh,
Thank you all very much.
look
We
at
really
fucking.
appreciate it.
Oh my God, RFK Jr. is just like he was.
Thank you all
He
very
was light on fire. Oh my.
Appreciate it. Thank you, please. Thank you.
Mr. President, can you respond to the new?
She tasted it, guys. She fucking tasted it. You can tell.
You can tell.
Like,
Oh God.
so yeah, we need to have a haul of all the times that, like, look, he's doing evil stuff nonstop, but he's also just shitting on himself and all of the people who are doing this evil with him, alongside him, supporting him. Hopefully they will get some kind of consequence further down the line. But at least right now, they're having to smell what is being described by many people as essentially death emanating from this man. Now, he's always had a funk to him, apparently, according to like Adam Kissinger said that. But now, lately, it is something extra.
Yeah.
Like he's just fucking a bag of garbage rotting inside. Yeah.
Well,
so yeah, this poor lady, look at her. She's like, I got it in my mouth.
That says people think ISIS's tactics are too aggressive.
Everybody out! Everybody out!
Everybody out! Evac!
Look out of here.
Go! Move!
Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Guys.
The POTUS dumped us.
Are we gonna flip for this, or what are we gonna do?
Like we're out here. We just open the door and ride out. Like don't even waste my time.
Well, no, like out into the fresh air. We gotta vent the room. We gotta vent the room.
What a world.
Whoever said truth was stranger than fiction first didn't know how right they were.
Yeah. I believe that's accurate. Bob, is that true?
Bob, can you confirm this is how Isengard was destroyed?
Jesus Christ. All right. Well, I guess that's about all we got for this week.
That's what we got for this week, folks.
But hey, look, it's a properly somewhat branded modern audience stream.
Yeah.
I think the first one. So there you go. We're doing it. It's a real thing. We're not just talking shit.
Well, we were at the end there.
We're not just blowing shit out our asses like Trump is apparently doing.
You're not doing that.
Christ almighty. Yeah, thanks everybody for, I know the stuff that we have to talk about right now is extremely upsetting. And if it's something that's like triggering you to a degree that like you can't, it's causing you dysfunction, emotional dysregulation, stuff like that. I completely understand you not being around for it. But I think even if you're just a decent human being who doesn't have any triggers about these things, you're still going to be upset hearing about it. And so I do value those of you who, soldier on and hear what's really going on here, because, our little corner of the internet is pretty small, but I'm proud of it.
Yeah.
And it's you folks that keep us going. So let me see. I think I had one funny-ish video that I might play on the way out. So give me a second to find that.
All right.
That way we're not just leaving it solely on terribleness and crap.
Well, it's certainly crap. We did, the last thing we had was pretty shitty.
Oh, I know what else. Oh, you know what? I got a video. It's an oldie but a goodie. Some of you probably seen it before, but yeah, Morgan, thanks for being Morgan. Bob, the old ways, is in the audience. He'll be on here eventually, I think.
Yeah.
Come on, Bob.
Bob is in a deep cover field operation for us.
Yeah, Bob's doing good work though. It's necessary work.
Yes, necessary work.
Yeah, I mean, we've looked at video before where he's on Fox News and you can see him sit down on a pad.
Yeah.
And we're not going to get into it now, but it could possibly be a victim of his that caused him some especially yeah. We'll talk about that eventually.
As we learn
Cue
more.
the fucking lady from Total Recall. 2 weeks. 2 weeks. I wish I had that. All right, guys. Hit like, subscribe, check this out. And
peace, love, praise, Bill, free Palestine.
Now let's see if we can't figure out what you are, my little friend. And where you come from.
I saw part of the message.
I seem to have found it.
Today, I woke up late. I had something I had to do. I had an obligation. And I didn't have the time to take a shit like I normally do in the morning. But I had to just push through. And I don't mean push the shit through, because that's what I didn't have time to do. I had to push through and get to my obligation. And sometimes we just have days like that, okay? And when you have a day like that and you have to shit and you got shit to do and you have to fucking make a choice, all right? You got to make a choice. Do I shit or do I do my shit? You got to do that shit. Do your shit, okay? And I don't want to be, I want to be completely clear here. When your choices are take a shit or do your shit, you do your shit and you take that shit and you do it. All right? And yeah, that's what we have to do. Morally, ethically. It's our responsibility as a human who takes shits and who has shit to do. So do your shit.